to make 5 psi. Please keep our oil from leaking.
Another video, right? Another episode of turboing your FZ07. Before we get started, we'll start with a quick prayer.
Dear Boost Gods, please guide us today on our quest to make 5 psi. Please keep our oil from leaking, and please let our turbo spool fast and strong.
Amen. Let's get started.
Alright guys, so here's what's been done to the bike so far. I did a quick little tail tidy cleanup, put in some new tail lights, put in a new actual tail light with integrated lights. Alright, other than that, I also got a diesel fuel pump right there. I'm going to include the link to it. Focus. I'm going to include the link to this fuel pump in the YouTube video or YouTube description, right? From there, I just hooked up some 5/16 line, going back here. I actually ran out of one kind of line and had to use a barb to join them two together. This isn't permanent. Eventually, I'm going to replace it with the proper hose, but just for testing purposes, I run this back into the crankcase, and this is how I'm getting the oil back into the crankcase. Hold on. So what I did was I got an aluminum crankcase oil cap, right? I drilled through it, and then I got a 6An fitting, and then I aluminum welded. So like, I don't have an aluminum welder, but there's this stuff called aluminum weld that you just you can use a torch, like a propane or accelerating torch, to heat up the aluminum, and then it'll join two pieces of aluminum together. So I use that to aluminum weld basically that 6An fitting there, and then I just use a 6An fitting to connect it back to this hose. All right. The benefit of that is I can replace this hose with any 5/16 hose, which I will do eventually. But for testing purposes, this works. All right. So this goes back into the fuel pump. Right there. This diesel fuel pump, I want the diesel fuel pump because it seems like gas fuel pumps are the viscosity of gas is thinner than diesel, right? And this fuel pump's also going to be a little bit hotter because it's taking crankcase oil out and pumping it back in, right? I did some reviews, and people have been using diesel fuel pumps to pump oil from the bottom of their turbo drains back into their crankcase. Well, not recently, but it's mostly on like old forums from like 2008, 2010, and they claim that these pumps work for years. So I figured for less than like 10 or 20 bucks, it was worth a shot. I did also find a gasoline fuel pump that was like $60 that's rated up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. So if this fuel pump doesn't work, I'm going to include the link for that one. But I decided to try the cheap option first, save a couple bucks and see how well it works. If it doesn't work, I can always replace it. So yeah, from there, what I did was drill 3 holes, one to run the fuel pump ground and positive wires through, and then 2 to run these little bolts through, right? And I just drilled it straight through the tailpipe cover here. It's not really tightened down, but I'll tighten it down later. As you can see on the opposite end, here are the bolts. Be sure to use some washers to retain it on there. I'm going to double bolt these to really hold it down, right? But again, it's looking good so far. What I'm going to do now is, well, I got to show you guys what else I've got. Hold on. So the Amazon guy has been very busy. He's dropped a lot of shit off recently, right? I've got this little fuse box here that I'm going to wire into the accessory. I've got a boost gauge so I can actually monitor how much boost is being made. I've got some vacuum hoses. As you can see, different size vacuum hoses, right? And then I've got new front lights. I'm going to install these, but that's not really related to boost. That's just more personal stuff. Then I've got some fuses and some vacuum hose clamps in there. All right, there we go. It's looking pretty good. Shit. Oh, forgot to add this. Also got a new bung. This is a steel bung for the oxygen sensor, right? The bung I kind of have installed right now doesn't quite fit too well, so I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to record myself reinstalling this one, so you'll see some welding today. Okay guys, welcome back. So what have I done since last clip? So far I found the accessory wire It's kind of tucked under there. It had this like fake plug on it, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and solder in an accessory wire, or like the basically power and ground wires for that block plate I showed you in the last clip, right? So let's get started. Let's go ahead and solder this one, and then I'll solder the next one. So first things first, you want to pull this wire out, give yourself some room here. I like to do that, right? Expose the positive. It's the positive right here. Make sure I'm getting a good pick of that. Right, you want to twist it like so. I want to take this in, twist it like so. Go ahead and twist them together into a tight little braid like so. Alright, let's grab our solder then. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, it's in there. So take that out. Let's see if our solder's hot. Not quite yet. Let's give it a sec. This is some hot work, boy. This Florida sun don't play, man. You might want to get drunk before you do this. Drink a little. It'll make it a lot easier, you know. Alright, let's try it again. Let's see. Oh, it's hot now. Yeah, boy. Let's get in there. Let the wire heat up. Go ahead. And spread that wire. And I saw there. Fuck. There we go. It's working its way in. There we go. And come down. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Make sure I'm not accidentally. Fuck. Let's see this. There we go. So get that ground out. There we go. So I'm definitely gonna have to retwist this. Not too bad. So, yeah. Alright, cool. So let's go over that one more time. And you go. There we go. See, I got it routed over here. Alright. And I'm kind of just going to put it over here for now. Right, I'm going to point in the seat right there. And we'll be right back when I install the fuse block. Okay, we're back. So, this is kind of an accident, but this actually fits together pretty perfect. I'm just going to leave it in there. I think I'm probably going to drill and keep this fuse block in here. But until then, remember this is the fuel pump wire. And these are leads. So this one has a built-in 15 amp fuse, right? I took it off an old USB port that I had laying around that died. The port itself died, but the wires run fine or work fine. right? So I take this, and this is the positive side. So I want to flip this around, like so. Let's take it out there first. Let's get the positive connected. So let's get a little washer plate here. Let me see. Washer plate. Washer plate. Spacer. No. What?
Put it like that, the wire is one side, or one side. Right? So take this, and this is the positive side, so I want to flip this around. Like so. Let's take it out this way. Make the positive connected. So, let's take a little washer plate here. These two. Washer plate. Washer.
All right. So let's see if it's hot enough now. And the sun's coming out. That's good. It is. So let's take this, and I'd like to go ahead and solder this a little bit. Ooh, shit. All right, guys. So I got some shrink wrap installed on these. Gonna go ahead and shrink wrap it down after I soldered it. Oh yeah. All right. Look at this shrink wrap. That's good. That's real good. What's the next step here? Give it back up. Alright. So now we'll connect this side to the negative. Ooh, that's hot. Hot, hot, hot. And this side to the positive. So positive. So, shit, we just dropped one. There it is. Alright. So, the reason we wired in the accessory is because we only want the fuel, or not the fuel, we want the oil pump, the ghetto oil pump, to only power on when the bike is powered on, right? And if our power, like you could wire the fuel pump directly into that accessory port, but then you lose the accessory port for like USB devices and other stuff. By wiring in this fuse box, I still get to use that accessory port for other shit, right? I'm not actually probably going to be putting that much load on this, but you never know. Worst case, one of these blow and I can just move it to another one, get back on the road. Let's see. or just take the fuse out and swap it over. Fuck. Ah, fuck. Let's do a shake test. Oh no, it's gone, man. Alright. Or if I lose a bolt, I can just take one off. Yeah, move it around. Who gives a fuck? Fuck. Let's try not to lose that one. The problem with having big hands is you gotta really be careful in tight spaces. Right? So let's take this negative here and connect it to this spot here. Oh, come on. Stop being like that. There we go. There we go. Fuck. Alright. So, okay. The next thing I'm going to do is disconnect the fuel pump from the bottom of the bike. And I'm going to see if I can get some oil into the turbo, and we'll test this fuel pump out and see how well it works. And I'm going to show you what I've been doing to keep boost from creeping up. I've got a blowout valve and I want to talk about that. Alright, so here I go, disconnecting the fuel pump. It's no longer active. Alright, and let's start the bike up. Let's see. There we go. So we're going to start the bike up and we'll see if we can hear this fuel pump going. Oh, you hear that? It's pumping, or it's trying to. My battery's too low. Hold on. We're going to try to jump it. Okay, boys, we're back. Got the bike hooked up to my Honda Fit just to see if I can get it started. I definitely hear the pump going. It's pulling something. Right. And look at that. No more fuel leaks at the bottom of the turbo. Right. I also made some changes to the turbo. I added this spring to help reduce boost. My goal is to hopefully get 5 psi. Right now I don't have any way for me to measure how much boost it's making or if it's making any boost. So I have that boost gauge, but I also have to wire that up and get it hooked up. But it does seem like this fuel pump's pumping something. Alright, it looks like it's flowing. So as long as the bike's on, the fuel pump's on. Or I mean that I guess turbo oil pump now is on. Alright. Next thing we're gonna do is try it again. Right, so what I'm doing right now is cranking the bike just to get some oil pressure built up. Get some oil into the turbo, hopefully. Right. So again, I hear something going on here, and let's verify this is working. What we can do is actually just hold on. I'll get a wrench. Okay, so I unhooked that line. We'll turn the bike back on, and we'll see if some oil starts coming out of there, or if it's building any kind of pressure. Let's see. Let's see. See, my oil pressure light's on. Okay, guys, little update. This is my new blow-off valve. Right, this is like the smallest turbo I could find on Amazon. Well, not the smallest turbo, the smallest blow-off valve I could find on Amazon. Right, this is that metal bracket I made originally. Right, I just added a little 1-inch pipe. This is like a one inch radiator hose to the 1-inch pipe. This goes to a little blow-off valve down there. When you buy these off Amazon, they come with like a 20 psi spring. To lower the psi, I cut the spring in half and stretched it out. Right. Hopefully that's enough to lower the boost. We'll see. Right. The last thing I'm going to do before I try to actually start it is to get the boost gauge installed, and I'm going to connect it to the turbo so I can at least see what the turbo is making at boost, and then hopefully from there I can figure out what this is making at boost, and then yeah, we can see what happens. Alright, cool. So blow off valve is now installed, right? I'm going to reconnect the fuel pump and we'll see if it starts again. Wish me luck. Alright guys, so wired up the boost gauge, installed the new bung for the oxygen sensor. I've noticed some things. It's still leaking oil, right? But it's not leaking oil from this part, it's leaking oil from the top part of the flange. So that means I've got to go over that flange again. And I've also noticed that this exhaust is actually leaking. So start to bite. Right, I'm gonna get a piece of paper and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I still have exhaust leaks and I'm still making 0 boost. So that prayer to the boost gods didn't work this morning. Maybe they'll bless us next week. That's it for today though. Catch me next time where I try to fix my exhaust leaks, right? And I also try to get it to build boost. But okay guys, welcome back. This is just, I guess, my afterthoughts to see exactly what happened today. Did not make boost, so the boost gods fell through. Sons of bitches. Other than that, what actually happened was my oil drain line, right? That didn't quite fit right, so I cut into it, and then I tried to re-weld it using aluminum weld, and that was just leaking all over the place. So I'm basically back to square one with the oil drain line leaking. What I did notice though is that the diesel pump as a oil return an oil return pump works great, right? So that part works. Fuse box works great. That part works. The pump only comes on when the motorcycle is powered on. So that aspect's working. Bad news is my exhaust is leaking like a motherfucker. I gotta grind it down and re-weld it. I was looking online, and I think when I was welding it up originally, my welds were a little too cold because it has porous leaks all over the place. The only fix for that is for me to grind it down to a smooth surface and re-weld it. So that's going to take probably all weekend. So that's going to be a project for next weekend. I'm going to record myself grinding everything down and welding everything down and trying to fix my leaks. I'm also going to do some more research and see if I can find the correct flange and the correct drain. I'm also going to see if I can buy some more hose so I can connect everything and not have to use that joining barb. Other than that, I'm just going to get my headlights installed. I'm going to make a video for that and go from there. So talk to you guys soon. Maybe we can get this shit done by the end of the month. Shit, looks like I might have to push it forward or expand my timeline to the end of the year. So we'll keep working on this and we'll make boost one day. See you guys around.